Hey everybody, it's Dave with Dave's Island Instruments, DII. This is our normal live broadcast that we do every 2 weeks. I talk about handpans and all the stuff we do here with handpans at DII. We also sell ukuleles, by the way, so check out our website, davesislandinstruments.com. If you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, go ahead and on YouTube there's a little red subscribe words or button down below the screen there, and click on that and subscribe to our channel. It'd be great to have you as a subscriber. Today I'm going to be showing you just the basics about handpan. We have a lot of people have questions about handpan. We do this every 2 weeks. We've done this for like years actually. Even before COVID struck, we had our facility here, DII. We're in Lakewood, California. And we would have classes come in. So people would come and we would all get in a circle and we would all play handpan, and I would teach them how to strike the handpan, tell them a little bit how it's made and all that sort of thing. And we could answer questions live. And then COVID hit, and so now we've just taken it to this level here where we're live on YouTube and Instagram today. And on YouTube, by the way, if you want to make any comments or have any questions for us, we have people watching in the background, and we can hopefully answer those questions for you live. That'd be great.
Victoria says hi.
Oh, Victoria, woohoo! Thanks to see you. Good to see you again. Thanks for watching again. It's great to have you. And so, okay, so today, since it's, I think, the Saturday before Christmas, is that correct? Am I correct? Yeah? I think so. So I've got like a little song for you today to show you on the handpan, and it's going to be really fun to do that. I just had known about playing this melody. It's like a Christmas holiday song melody for a while now, but then I just figured out a kind of a way to manipulate it a little bit. So if you want to play along with somebody else on piano, or if somebody wants to sing along, they can sing along and you can play the handpan with them. So I can't even remember the name of the song personally, but maybe you guys in the comment section can tell me, Dave, that's the name of the song. It'll be fun. Anyway, so first of all, let me just tell you about the handpan a little bit for the beginners out there that have never seen a handpan. This is what it looks like. It's a metal instrument. It looks like kind of like a flying saucer. It's a descendant of the steel drum. The steel drum is the thing that this was preceded it in Trinidad. Trinidad made the steel drum, the island of Trinidad in the Caribbean Ocean or sea or area. And so Trinidad came out with the steel drum back in the 40s and 50s. And then now we've got, in the year 2000, Pan Art over in Switzerland developed the hang drum. And this is modeled after the hang. And as you can see, it's got the top with notes on the top. And the bottom, we've got the hole in the bottom called the goo hole. We call the top shell, and the bottom shell, because before we put them together, there's two separate parts. So the two separate parts are glued together. We have this little ring here, a little protective ring. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just basically glued together, not welded. And that's how it's made. The bottom traditionally has no notes on it. It's just kind of metal shell. But these days we have handpans available now that do have notes on the bottom, and so we call those bottom notes. And on the top, we've got top notes. These notes are traditionally called tone fields in the handpan world. Since I built and made steel drums in the past, I call them just notes. So we've combined those two notes, combined those two words, and now we call them tone field notes. So on the top, we've got some tone field notes, and they have different pitches that are tuned to them. The one in the center is differentiated with a different name. It's called the ding, D-I-N-G, and it's got the bass tone, the lowest bass tone of the handpan. And so the ding sounds like this. And then the notes around the perimeter of the instrument, the tone field notes, sound like this. Like that. And so you can play it sequentially from low to high. So that's the way it sounds. And as you can see, the way I'm hitting it, I'm just using a single finger to hit it. There you can see it in the image a little bit better there. A lot of beginners have problems with learning how to get the sound out of the instrument. A lot of people curl their fingers like this, and they kind of swipe at it like this. You can make sound from the instrument like that. It's a little bit more of a delicate sound, but if you want that nice, warm, fuller sound, it's kind of nice to slap it with a single finger. It's typically not recommended to use your full hand like that. As you can see, my ring on my finger made a clacking sound, and then it just has too much of a slap sound to it. So it's best just to use one finger, at least that's my suggestion. Some people like to use their thumb too. So you can use a thumb. Has a little bit more of a percussive attack to it than the finger. The finger has more flesh on it, so it sounds a little bit more mellow. Some people like their index finger, some people like the middle finger. Kind of depends on who the person is and how they feel about it. You can also play with two fingers, so you can combine the thumb and index finger to play two fingers at the same time, which create a chord. You can add another hand to make a three-note chord, that sort of thing. The way you basically want to slap the note with that finger is just use gravity to allow the hand to fall on the instrument. Try not to force it with muscles. Like when you force it with your muscles, you tend to mute the note, and that's one of the biggest things that beginners do that's kind of like a mistake, is they're trying to push their finger into the note, which mutes it. So you kind of have to allow it just like a relaxed falling on the instrument with your hand. And then the finger is going to slap the note and immediately come off of the note. So it's kind of like a spring, a little spring action. So sometimes people overdo it and they do this kind of motion. So you don't necessarily have to strike and then raise your hand. It's just as long as your finger strikes the note, has a bit of a spring-like motion, falls, and then immediately comes back up into position. Another thing I do is sometimes I actually touch the instrument with this part of my hand here prior to striking the note itself. Or sometimes it just kind of rolls like that.
Quick question, Dave.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yes, Victoria.
Yes, Victoria.
Our favorite watcher out there. Victoria, in order to retune a pan, does it need to be taken apart, or can the tone fields or notes be reached via the goo?
Okay, good question. So yeah, typically for tuning the handpan, I've got small hammers, like ball peen hammers, that I cut off the handles, so the handle's only about 6 inches long. And you reach inside the instrument like this, and you can tune the notes with your hand inside of the handpan. You can also access the outside of the handpan with another hammer here, if you need to. And so that's the way you tune it. So yes, it's like a piano. Handpans are like pianos. Frequently people have questions about tuning on handpans and like when do you need to get it tuned and all that sort of thing. I regard it like a piano, and some people will have a piano in their house for 20 years and they'll never get it tuned once. And yes, there are some notes that are out of tune, but they still just love it and play it every day. And they're just not super duper concerned about like slightly out of tune notes here and there. And then there's other people that play piano and they get it tuned every 3 months because that one note is just driving them crazy. So it's kind of largely up to the perception of the person who's playing the instrument as to whether it needs to be tuned or not. Yes, you can put it onto a machine, a strobo tuner, and just look for the notes that are usually sharp or out of tune. Or if it falls and gets damaged, that's another way handpans go out of tune. But in general, I would say most handpans are probably going to stay in tune fairly well for the first 3 to 6 months, maybe up to a year after it's purchased or after it's born, essentially, after it's made for the first time. Then typically it does need to get like a retune, and usually it's very minute changes that occur with the handpan that most people don't even perceive. So most people that we sell handpans to don't really ever bring their drums back to us to get them tuned. But if you're being very meticulous and want to know exactly if your handpan is in tune or out of tune, after 6 months, a year, whatever, you can send it to us, and we do retunes. And usually the first tuning on our instruments is free. So if you're concerned, we can retune it. But again, recently I had somebody send a handpan to us after 3 or 6 months, and they said, yeah, you told me to get it tuned after 3 or 6 months. So he sent it back, but there was virtually nothing wrong with it. So I didn't really do any work. Maybe I just barely touched one note or something like that. It was very inconsequential. So again, it's largely upon your perception of if it's playing in tune for you, if it's making you comfortable, if it's making you uncomfortable, if there's a note that got damaged, then you might want to send it back to us for tuning, that sort of thing. So, but it's done with hammers, and I use an electronic strobo tuner to make sure everything is in tune precisely. Okay, so we were just talking about how to play the instrument. I was talking about how to strike it, that sort of thing. You can use multiple fingers. Today I'm going to show you that little holiday song that I developed. And what is it? We wish you merry gentlemen, I think. What is it? God bless ye merry gentlemen. So God bless you merry gentlemen is the name of this song. So if you have one of our handpans, we use the sunset scale. And that's basically a D minor scale. And in the world of handpans, a lot of people call them Celtic minor scales. So the note in the middle is a D. Then we skip up to A, C, D, E, F, G, and A. And I don't know if we have a diagram.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we've got a diagram on screen that shows you what those notes are. If you have this scale already, the sunset scale or a Celtic minor, D minor, Celtic minor, then you can do this little song that I'm going to show you. If you have another scale, then it's probably not going to work. It all depends. I'm just going to show you what I do on this scale, the sunset scale, which is also the Celtic minor scale. It's in D minor. I'm just going to take it step by step, and I know I don't have a really good camera to show you like overhead exactly where my hands are, but maybe if you're watching at home, you can kind of just emulate what I'm doing. So here we go. So I'm going to start on the D on my right-hand side. So it's, then I skip up to the A up there. So D, D, A, and then I go down the scale. So it's very simple. Once you get beyond that first opening statement, and you might actually want to do all that with the right hand, because after that, it's all just alternating hands. So I used all of the tone fields around the rim of the handpan just then, except for the low A. So again, starting on the right hand on the D, and then skipping up again with your right hand to the high A. Like that, so 2 here and 2 here. And then after that, it's all going down the scale to the C, and then you just go back up the scale to the A. Okay, so one more time. And luckily, the melody is the same twice in a row, so you do it again. Now, we don't have the next notes to play the next part of the melody. So what I developed was, if you're singing along, or if you have a piano player or somebody else playing along with you on violin or clarinet or whatever other instrument, you can play the following notes, and you're basically playing the chords of the song. So the chords would go like this: D and F, E and G, F and A, D and F. So there's a little transition here that's going to take some learning. But after that, I've got some really good news for you. It's really super easy after that. So the beginning part, so basically let's split this into 3 parts. The first part, you just learned it. It's that part that goes twice. And the second time. So we're going to work on the second part now. It's the chords part. Da, 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 da. Right? So that second part of the melody there. So right there, what I did is I did a D and F, E and G, F and A, D and F, D and A, and then to C and E. So I ended on the C and E on the left-hand side. So it's kind of like I'm creeping up the scale with 2 notes at a time here. And then when I end on the F and A there, I'm just going all on the right-hand side of the handpan, just 2 notes at a time, like that. And then I end that little phrase on the C and E on the opposite side of the handpan. So there's the little scale up with the harmonies. And then you go down the right-hand side of the handpan, and then you end on the C and E. So one more time, starting on the D and F, you scale up, go down the right-hand side to C and E. Right? So da 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 da. I wish I knew the words, but I don't. Yeah, something like that. Comfort and joy and all that sort of. Yeah, so I'll get to that part. So, okay, so now let's work on the first two parts. Remember, there's three parts to this song. So I showed you the first part. I just showed you the second part. And then there's the third part, which is super easy, and you're going to love it. So let me go through the first and the second parts one more time. Do it twice. So here comes the chord. You scale up, right hand side of the handpan to the left hand side, right? So that's how it goes so far. So let me just sing the melody now on the part where I do the chords. Maybe you can sing along at home. So here come the chords. I'll hum it. Da 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 da. Right? So that's where we're at now. So the next part, good tidings. Is that what it is? Good tidings? Something like that? Good tidings, comfort and joy, comfort and joy, tidings, comfort and joy. So you noticed all I did on that part of the song is I just moved my hands from the right hand side of the handpan to the left hand side of the handpan, back to the right hand side of the handpan, to the left side, back to the right hand, back to the left. So what is it? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I think I did that pattern 3 times and then ended on the D minor over here. So it's the right side, left side, twice, 3 times, and stop. So that's the way that whole song goes. So if you were singing along, or if you wanted to play along with somebody on piano or guitar or any other instrument, what is the name of the song called again? Good. God bless ye merry gentlemen. All right. So let's just do the whole song now. I'll just show you how the whole thing goes. Remember, it's 3 parts. It's the first part of the melody, the little transition, and then we do the chords at the end. So God bless ye merry gentlemen, I wish I knew the words. God bless ye merry gentlemen, I think I'll da-da-da. And then the scale up, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. End on C and E. And then you go back and forth. Comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Second time, third time, da-da-da-da-da-da. And on D minor. So you can see how that song works. So let me just do it one more time, then I'll just kind of sing through it. And that'll be it for today on this song. But I hope you kind of were able to glean something from it and maybe learn a little bit about how to play that song. So here we go, one more time from the beginning. So that's the first part. Second part, you scale up. To the C and E, and then you just going back and forth. Right side, left side. Second time. Third time. And end. So that's the song. All right, so there you go. God rest ye merry gentlemen. That's your holiday song, Christmas song for today for our DIY live class. Handpan class. So I'm glad you got to learn that. Hopefully you were able to pick up on some of the little details there, and if you're watching and maybe learning a little bit of how to play a little Christmas song on your handpan. Traditionally, handpans are not really used as melody instruments for Christmas songs or for just pop songs in general. Sometimes you can get away with it. Sometimes you have just enough notes to make the melodies sound correct. Frequently, handpans are used for a lot of meditative purposes. So if you're into meditation, or sound healing, that sort of thing. Sound healing is really popular with handpans. It's great. So you don't necessarily have to learn melodies, or you don't have to learn anything difficult, quote unquote. Like for a lot of beginners, what I just showed you just there, that would be way too much information. So for beginners, a lot of times what I just get them started with is very, very simple stuff. Like for instance, when you're just first learning how to strike the instrument, I just have them strike the center note, which is called the ding note, maybe like 4 times each. And I just have them go back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to remember that a lot of people that get involved with handpan, this is the first musical instrument they might have owned in their life. Or they tried out musical instruments when they were young in elementary school, and for whatever reason they didn't continue playing it, but they've always wanted to play a musical instrument, so they're still drawn to the idea of playing a musical instrument, but for whatever reason it just hasn't worked out. So in this case, handpan works great because you can just learn how to play it very simply and enjoy it. So again, what I just showed you with that holiday song with the God Bless Ye Merry Gentlemen, that's probably too much work for a beginner and a little bit above their pay grade. So you just get started easy, like what I'm doing here. And then once you get a feel for playing the ding note, you can branch out and play some of the notes on the side. Like for instance, like this. Has a little bit of a different feel and a different placement of where your hands are. And if you want to branch out even farther, you can add a finger. So now I'm playing with my thumb and my finger. Even this, having 2 fingers at a time for a lot of beginners, is a little bit too far. As a beginner, you want to just basically focus on the 1 finger for a long time until you get really comfortable with it, and then you can start branching out into using 2 fingers or adding multiple notes at the same time. So another one of the things that I teach, so that's just a beginning exercise for a lot of beginners, is just how to get the initial tone out of the instrument, like that. Another thing I teach is how to scale, play a scale, so you can scale it up or scale it down. For instance, on this instrument it has 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we start with number 1 in the center, and then we just count straight upwards on the scale from there. If I start on my left hand on this instrument, it makes it really easy. There's no crossovers. Everything is alternating hands, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So you can go straight up. You can also start on the top with your right hand and go down. Or you can go up and down. So there's a variety of things you can get going with the handpan very quickly, and even just something simple as that can be very meditative and enjoyable while you're playing the handpan if you're a beginner. So, and by the way, you don't have to go fast, you can go slow. You can see after you play the scale a few times, you're going to start feeling a little bit more relaxed. And if I just kept playing this over and over again, you'd be like, whoa, I'm feeling very meditative, and I feel like I want to relax and enjoy my day. So something as simple as playing this scale just over and over again can bring real life to this instrument and affect you kind of deeply on a deeper sense. So that's one simple thing you can do. Another thing, by the way, each one of these notes, some people ask about the tuning of handpans and how they're tuned. When you watch handpan players play on YouTube and all sorts of other platforms like that, on Facebook or wherever you're seeing these videos, you see them kind of getting these like just little magical notes and nuances out of the instrument. And it's because each one of these notes is basically like an oval shape. I don't know if you can see it in the frame there. There's like a little oval shape, and each one of these oval shapes is a note, but the tuner, myself, tunes basically 3 frequencies on each one of these notes. So there's a fundamental pitch, which is just basically the sound you hear, la. And then through the length of the oval, there's an octave, which is usually a higher la, la, la sound. And then there's a 5th, which is higher, and I can't even sing it because it's higher. So this one has 3 of those pitches. And when a note is perfectly in tune, all 3 of those pitches are working together and perfectly in tune to create the sound that you're hearing. But what handpan players do, the really good ones, is they figure out how to activate those sounds separately. So frequently, like you would just play this note with one hand or one finger in the center. But if you kind of do a little magic trick, you can mute that center part of the note and then tap where the 5th is, and you can only just get that one sound there from the 5th, which is an E here. You can also do it from the side, like if I had this on the side, I can mute again. And now I'm getting that octave sound. You can also sometimes just get the different sounds by just proximity. So rather than striking the notes in the center, if you strike it on the edge of the end of the note, you get more of the octave sound. Same thing with the fifth. You can kind of strike near where the fifth is, you get a lot of that fifth sound. So there's different ways of activating those different harmonics. And like I said, the real advanced players know how to get these sounds out of the instrument just spontaneously and any time they want. So it takes a while to learn these techniques, by the way. So just learning how to play the instrument and warming up to it quickly is definitely possible. But when you really start looking at those videos and want to emulate the people that are on those videos playing throughout the world that are just excellent players, then you're going to have to put some time in and figure out some of these techniques and learn how to play or learn how to manipulate the drum the way they're doing it to get the sound out of it that they're getting. So just a real quick one. A lot of people really love the sound of this, what do we call this? A pitch bend. See how it kind of dips down like that? A lot of people love that. So that's called a pitch bend. And so basically, again, on the ding note right here, there's three pitches that are tuned to it. There's the fundamental pitch, the octave that goes through the center, and then there's a fifth that goes through the width of the note. So all you're essentially doing with your left hand is you're muting the octave area, so the octave isn't sounding. You put it kind of in this little magical zone, and I can't describe it to you because almost every handpan is slightly different. This won't also work on every single handpan because different tuners tune handpans differently than I do. So in general, though, you take that left-hand finger, you place it on the metal, and you're muting that so it's not going to make a sound. At the almost exact same time, you're going to push down forcibly on the steel with your left hand, strike the fifth to get the fifth to make a sound, and then you release. At the same time, you strike. And that's how you get that sound. So we call it a pitch bend. But a lot of people love it, and they think it's really cool, a cool sound to make out of the handpan. All right, another thing you can do with a handpan is you can play the interstitial metal. The interstitial metal is the metal that's between the tone field notes. So all of these tone field notes make that beautiful sound, but between them, it's kind of like a little dead hit kind of area where you can just make a slapping sound. And that slapping sound, you can emulate the sound of a snare drum on a drum set. Like if you're playing drum set with the bass drum and the snare drum, doom dat, that kind of thing. So you can use the ding note as the bass drum, and you can use your finger on the interstitial area as the snare drum. So it can be like bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, that kind of thing. So another one of the little patterns that I show to the beginners is this song that we call the Austin Funk. And let me show it to you first. I just showed you the beginning part. It's basically a two-part little jam. You do have the first part that sounds like this. It goes 3 times, 3, and you end on the 4th, and then you pause just for a second. Then you play the C and the D, C and D, like that. Da 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 da. And then it starts over again. So let me play the whole thing for you. 2, 3, pause, C, D, C, D, like that. Super easy. For most beginners, everyone gets it within the first, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes. Some people get it really fast. Some people get it like within like a minute or two. So the cool thing with that rhythm is I always tell everybody, it's my favorite story. Like if you get a handpan and you want to play your first gig, it's perfect for a coffee shop. You can just chill out playing that rhythm as people are coming in and out of the coffee shop one of these days when they open up again. Or you can play outside in front of a coffee shop, who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can play this in front of a coffee shop, outside of a coffee shop, in a coffee shop, with your husband or wife making coffee, doesn't matter. So, so this is a great rhythm because you can also kind of play it and talk at the same time. So you can say something like, hey everybody, nice to see you here at the DII coffee shop. Can't wait to play for you. It's going to be a great evening. Or you could do some poetry. Either way, it's a great rhythm to get started with because it's just like you just can cruise out with it. It's a lot of fun. You're right, you do a little poetry. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. You get the idea, right? So it's a great little rhythm to learn how to do on the handpan. So one thing I didn't mention is on the little snare drum part on the interstitial metal, I'm just slapping it, but in a different way than I do with the handpan note. With the handpan note, I want my finger to come off of the note immediately so that you're kind of letting the sound come out of the instrument. With the slap, I'm actually kind of leaving my finger on the steel, and I'm really pushing kind of hard into the steel to kind of give it a nice solid slap. So that's what I do there. I prefer my middle finger for that slap. I can kind of do it with my ring finger too. For some reason, I don't like doing it with my index finger, but ultimately it turns out to be whatever finger you feel it feels most comfortable with is what you should go with. Your little finger might not be the best because it might not have enough force to create the best sound. I've seen some people use their full hand. It's okay, but I kind of like the sound of the snappiness of just a one finger. So that's what I tend to use. I use this location on the drum to play a lot of my backbeats with the interstitial metal, but you can play it anywhere between the notes. You'll find that some places, even on the bottom, you'll find that some places on the drum are more noisy than other places. So if you want to get a nice crisp sound, you want to find a place that has like the most muted sound. But in general, a lot of times you'll see players even play and they'll change the location. For whatever reason, they might move to the other side, or say they're playing on this side. Right, so they just kind of move wherever they need to with that slap and utilize the area that's available. So, all right, so that's pretty much my show for today. Let me just go back to the melody that we learned earlier today, the "God Bless You, Merry Gentlemen" song. So I'm just going to review that really quick, and I'm going to send you off with that. Otherwise, we've got Christmas coming up, so Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy Hanukkah. I think it's already passed, but all that sort of thing. Happy holidays to everybody.
Holiday hours.
Holiday hours. Do we have holiday hours?
Well, we'll be open till...
By appointment only.
Oh yeah, still by appointment only. So yeah, anytime you want to make an appointment with us, if you're interested in our instruments, go to our website, davesislandinstruments.com. And at the bottom of the homepage, you should find like a little button that says appointments. Click on the appointments and you can make an appointment with us. We do virtual appointments, kind of like this, where it's one-on-one virtually on screen, which is very helpful for a lot of people that are distant. Otherwise, we also have appointments here on our sidewalk. So come on down. We can help you out on the sidewalk and show you a couple different instruments and that sort of thing. So otherwise, Christmas is coming. Enjoy yourself. The New Year is coming. I think we're going to have a ukulele show, a live show next week.
There's a ukulele social every Wednesday now.
Okay, ukulele social coming up Wednesday.
And then
at 6 p.m.
At 6:30.
6:30 p.m.
Check out the events page.
Yep, check out the events page. That's right.
And then also next Saturday will be ukulele Saturday.
Yep,
after Christmas.
Right, next Saturday, the Saturday after Christmas, we've got the ukulele live show at 1 o'clock p.m. here. Oh yeah, we've got a membership site coming up. So we've been working on this new platform where we're going to be teaching lessons and have lessons available for all sorts of different things like handpan, ukulele, et cetera, et cetera. So please look forward to that in 2021. We're going to be unveiling that pretty soon. All sorts of fun little perks are going to go along with that, and we're going to have a little community. We're calling it the DII community.
Yeah.
So look for the DII community page and lessons and that sort of thing. It's going to be great. Okay, so I'm going to send you off one more time with God Bless Ye Merry Gentlemen. And then here's the scale up part. Da, 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 da. Chords. Da, 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 da. All right, I hope you learned something today. Have a great weekend, have a great holiday, and we'll see you the next time. I think the next time I'll see you for a live show is in 2021. So we'll see you next time.
Oh, yeah, all right.